Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends.
Yo,
Brought
everybody,
to you
it's
by
Roto
drroto.com.
So let's get to it. Bring the pain.
What's up, everybody? This is Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. And Dr. Roto in a kind of a change-up episode. What's up, Dan? How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself? I'm doing good this week.
I'm doing good. So we just been trying to do different things. Right now, we're actually trying Twitch for one of the first few times in a long time that we haven't done this because X has been kind of crazy. I was just talking about that. But I was like, I wanted to sit here and finally talk video games. We talk about all this UFC stuff. We talk about all this NFL stuff. We've talked about other different episodes, but we have literally talked about video games throughout, but never just about video games.
Yeah.
So what was the first video game you ever played?
Ever played? Oh man. My brother had Intellivision growing up. So
Okay.
I remember playing Pong.
Dude, I used to go to yard sales and they would have a Pong machine. It literally would just be a rectangle thing with two controllers, and you could remove them, and there'd be cords, and there would be the cords that would actually stick in and make it work. Those are the best, man.
I remember playing that. He had a Dungeons and Dragons game for Intellivision. I remember playing that. I mean, I was little, but I remember him.
Yeah. So my first game I ever played was Space Invaders.
Okay.
I did play Pong, but my dad went actually literally on the corner house down here from where I live, as you know. We used to rent that corner house, and that's where there used to be a rentway down at the corner of where like that storefront is. So he went there and he rented an Atari 2600 in 1980. And that's I'm like 2 years old at this point. And he rented that system, and he brought home Space Invaders, Pac-Man, and Galaxian. And I remember, what's up, Rose? And I remember the first time I played Space Invaders, and it was like, whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah.
So eventually I played Pong because I went to yard sales, like I said, and bought that. But I used to. Thank you. Much love. Yeah, we're here to talk video games. So if you have favorite games and anybody wants to pop in, tell their video game.
Mario? How you doing, Mario?
Talk about that. So we were just in the Atari stage because Dan and I are about the same age. What up, Evan? So, that's the one thing. Gaming to me is it can bring everybody together. And that's what games like Super Street Fighter would do, or when Street Fighter 2 first hit the Super NES. I remember renting it, and all of my friends in like all around the neighborhood just came over because this was a big event. We didn't have to go shove quarters in an arcade machine. We got to play Street Fighter at home. That was huge. Dan, what was maybe the next system you had? Did you have a Nintendo or did you have a Sega? Or
we had both. I got a Sega when I was old enough, when my parents thought I was old enough, and my brother had a Nintendo, so I would always play Nintendo with my brother.
Oh, you had it both. That's awesome, Mario. Xbox One. That was definitely like, I never had an Xbox One because I went PlayStation 4 at that point. But going back, yeah, dude, that was were the times. So of course, I had my Atari. And then, as I've told on this story before, that maybe you never heard, here all of my friends got the Nintendo Entertainment System. My parents got me the Atari 7800. And
Okay.
I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Right? So I thought it was a Nintendo. And I open it up, and I'm like, oh, man, I got to call my friends.
You got the joystick and the one button.
No, they actually upgraded. The 7800 had a thing like our phone. That's the way it was. You held it like this. There was two buttons.
Two buttons on a joystick.
Yeah, it was,
I got you.
It was a little more hand ergonomic or whatever you want to call it. It was definitely fun, man. And we do want to thank everybody coming in. But like, so I had that. Dude, we used to play decathlon, like with the winter games going on right now. And you used to have that stick, right? You put it in the ball of your hand. Dude, that should be red as hell. Red as hell. Hand be on fire. Go home, man. That's why my palms are so strong nowadays. Because like,
yeah. So I mean, on Nintendo, when my brother had it, we used to love Evander Holyfield boxing because it was the best boxing game out then.
Mm-hmm.
Like a real boxing game, because you had Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which was kind of cartoonish.
Yeah. And super hard. So people
I love it. But I mean, Evander Holyfield boxing was 2 players, and we could beat each other up. You could make your own fighter. You could do everything that you could do today. But it was just a great game. And,
that was on the Genesis, wasn't it? Though, because
that came out on the Sega Genesis too. It was on both.
I don't know if it was on the Super Nintendo, because Super Nintendo had problems with licensings. So at that time, licensing was big. It's the reason why like Madden 94 looked better on the Genesis than it did on the Super Nintendo. Because it was like at that point, they didn't want to make the same game. They just wanted the Sega game always to be better. At least that's why I took it up. That was the banter that Sega go. So, for me, it was like Julio Cesar Chavez. Chavez was one of my favorite games, but that was where me and my friends could actually start boxing each other, other than like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. But you are right. All my friends that had that Evander Holyfield boxing game, love that. Love that
great
game. I mean, I was a huge Holyfield fan too. So, I was all there, not to bring up any ear biting incidents like the MMA.
It was the first game with real fighters in it too. So you had to go up through the ranks and fight real fighters. So it was great.
Yeah, Chavez was always fun too. You could make a big lunky fighter. You could make like a short little stocky built guy. And then you had your little slender guy. But then you get into the fight nights, and the fight nights definitely upgraded all of the fighting. Those are practically, but even you got Ready to Rumble boxing, that crazy ass game, dude. Even Chrissy played that game. She used to do Lulu Valentine, bro. That was
the dude with the afro that would dance around. I know what you're talking about.
Name? Well, he had a cool ass name too, Afro something. I can't.
Was it Afro Jack or something like that?
That's what came to my mind because I'm an EDM guy.
But I played that game. It was fun. My brother actually had that for Sega Genesis.
Okay.
Or was it Sega Dreamcast? I think that came out on Dreamcast.
It was Dreamcast.
Yeah, my brother had that on Dreamcast. I didn't have Dreamcast. My brother did.
Yeah. Dude, I used to love like just that. And that was like the whole thing me and my friends did. That was what led me to even playing soccer games. And actually kind of steered me, other than when we get to the Need for Speed series, but kind of steered me into like that kind of EDM, electronica, music kind of scene, dance scene, because you had Moby being on a lot of those tracks as the games evolved. I became a computer gamer because of Diablo 2. I played Diablo 2. Well, I played Diablo 2 before Diablo 2 came back out again. So you could say I played Diablo 2 for at least 35, 40 years of my life. It spans 40 years of my life. So
that's crazy. See you, Mario.
All right, buddy. All right, bud. Yeah, so what Nintendo games? So did you play The Legend of Zelda? Did you play games like that?
I liked the first one. I mean, all these came out when I was like 8, 9 years old. So I played the first one. The first one was great. I didn't like the second one.
Okay.
I really liked the game Paperboy. Paperboy was great.
No, I love that game too. That was a fun game.
Metroid. I was a big Metroid fan on regular Nintendo on NES.
And just so we'll get to the PlayStation era. I kind of like the timeline we're going on. We're kind of staying right there. So I loved Metroid. Castlevanias. Did you love the Castlevanias, or did you play the original and never part 2 or 3?
I played part 2. I never played after that. So I really liked the first one. The second one was meh, and I never played again.
So the second one, did you ever play the second Zelda game?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like how you got how you were real small and then you got bigger when you played the levels.
Yeah, you played a side scroller.
Yeah, I just liked the original one where you just walked around.
Dude. Yeah, and that's everybody's thing. Zelda 2, I loved Zelda 2 because it was just one of those games that was different. It developed a leveling system. So me, I would just pass up the stuff and I would just zerd. I got this game mapped so much that I would literally level up twice. I would level up when I beat the boss, and then I would level up when I got the crystal. So then I would come out and I would have like level 4 attack. So I didn't have to worry about that.
You have the big ass sword.
Oh, dude, that's Ocarina of Time too. When you got the big Garu Mountain sword, man, that thing was huge. And then it would break. About that game. Oh, dude, that's like one of the best games ever created. And it to me was kind of where that was going. But we're about the Nintendos. So for me, I loved games like Jackal, Battletoads. I played that. Me and my friend was able to beat that. I have the Game Genie, of course. I didn't need that for Battletoads. We actually beat that straight up. Contra, Super C. Did you ever play both Contras, or did you just play the original?
I played the original, the one where you threw the up, down, left, right. Yeah, I just the original. I never played the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was so much fun right there, playing a game like that. And then Super C it was like a reverse. It was like down, up, left, right, BA, select start or something, or start, and it would just give you 10 guys. But Super C was cool because I remember when I first heard the Super C music come out, it was like pushing that Nintendo music to the edge, and it was like you're like, yeah. But I just love it. And see, that's where the Nintendo's kind of where my love for video game music kind of popped up, because it wasn't more than just like the Zelda music. When all my friends, of course, got done making fun of me, I was able to obtain a paper route in this time. And so when I got that paper route, that I wronged that. So I got the Atari 7800. So I had to play the 7800 for months, which was fun. This game, Desert Falcon, was a really good game. Me and my buddy Dewan played that. So as you may never hear me mention Dewan much, but Dewan was like my identical brother in gaming. So like what I would have to teach my one friend, John P., Dewan, I would never have to touch. He was literally like, he would just immediately lock in what I'm doing. So me and him together is like in a double game, like a tag team game or whatever. We were just unbeatable. We were great. We could beat those games. So games like Contra 2 and all that, me and him could beat first. And that was just kind of the ideal of that. And that carried on to the Super Nintendo, carried on to the Nintendo 64. So for me and him, that was like that. Other people I kind of had to train, but they were never at that level. And I never had to say anything to him. So it was so much easier to game next to him. Double Dragons. Some people consider Double Dragon 2 and Double Dragon 3 especially hard to beat. And it beat our ass a lot, right? But the one, I remember when we beat it, we had our last two guys left. Jimmy and Billy were done. I had the Ninja Razu or whatever, and he had Shin with the guy. He kind of gave these hands. And I was like, I'm going to run in and risk myself and do whatever I can to hit the last boss. And I ran in and I was like, I died, and he ran up behind it and slapped him a couple times with Chin. I think it was Chin. And we beat it. I was like, yeah, right. Nobody knew. Dude, it was crazy. My dad used to tell me stories that he would hear Dewan go, ah! He had this high-pitched scream. Up the vent, he'd be sleeping. He was like, every once in a while you wake me up, but I will let you guys go, because he understood that. It was really cool. My dad was really cool. He could have yelled at me for that shit, but he didn't. So I was like, all right, that's cool. But yeah, so that's what we had. Who did you play a lot of video games with? I assume you're friends, but did you have a friend like that? The one kid?
My cousin Joe, man. He's still one of my best friends till this day. But he's my cousin. I was with him all the time. So he had all the cool games for Nintendo and Sega. So I'd go over his house and play, because We were kind of poor, so we didn't really have a lot of. I didn't have a lot of games growing up.
We didn't either, man.
But I was able, every time I got a game, I was able to buy the first 3 Mega Man games, which are my absolute favorite.
Oh,
I'm a big Mega Man fan. I haven't played since Mega Man 3. So
what?
I mean,
Okay.
1, 2, and 3 are my absolute favorite games of all time. So.
Yes. Let's talk about that. I actually still own those carts, but Mega Man 2 is literally. I just did a whole podcast on Mega Man 2 because of the music and the way it was just like. And then you had Electric Rabbit. Dude, I remember the first time I made Wily Stage 1. The freaking hairs on the back of my neck stood up. When I just stayed there. I killed all the people in the area. Thank God they didn't have Mega Man on a timer. And I just let that shit bump through my stereo, man. That game is crazy. But Mega Man 3 was badass too.
Yeah. Like Mega Man 3 was my favorite. I could never get past Woodman. Man. He always kicked my butt. But I ended up beating him later on. But when I was little, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get past him. It was just too hard.
I just had an abundance of friends, and my house was always the hangout houses we've talked about. It was like everybody else's family is like, okay, and then bam, they would all just be in my house. And so that's why I said when Street Fighter 2 came out, that was that. But Mega Man 3, again, it came back to me and Dwan. We would go rent these games on like a Saturday, like every other kid, and we would bring it back, and that's how we would just start playing. And he would do it, I would do it, he would do it. We would just trade the controller. It was something that me and him always did together. So then, so going through the Nintendos, I remember the first time. So I first got my first Dragon Warrior when Nintendo Power was like $15 for the year, and Dragon Warrior just came out, and they ran this promo with it. It's literally how everybody got hooked into role-playing games. And I went to my dad. I talked to my mom, and she goes, that's a really good deal. She goes, she knew I was talking about it, and she goes, that's really good. So he came home, and my dad his first thing he said out of his mouth was yes. And he got me a yearly subscription that I kept all the time. So I would go to school and I would have the Nintendo Power. So I was one of the few Nintendo Power guys. Most people went Game Pro, but then we got our EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthlies, and I got that subscription. And Dwan was an EGM guy, so he would always be like EGM, and I'd be like, "Yo, man, Nintendo Power." He's like, "Nobody wants this fluffy stuff." So we would just kind of camaraderie about that stuff. But I got Dragon Warrior, so then he's the one who introduced me to John P. And so we went there, and he goes, "Dude." We were talking a couple times, and I seen Final Fantasy, and I was like, "Ooh, Final Fantasy!" And Juan goes, "Bro, you're not gonna like that." And I was like, "Well, I like games like that." And John was like, "Have you ever played Dragon Warrior?" I was like, "Yeah, I've beat it multiple times." And he goes, "Oh, he'll be like this." He goes, "But I'm only gonna give it to you one day. You have to bring it back tomorrow." I said, "One day?" He goes, "Yes, one day." I go, "Damn, man, that's stingy." But I get it, though. This man would check all of his video games, where later in life we started like moving video games on him, and he would catch it before we leave the room because but yeah, he was just like OCD'd like that for some reason after a while. But so he gave it to me, and I went and I played that game for 20 hours straight, and I found what is now called the Peninsula of Power. There's 4 squares by the second town, which is way early in the game, that have enemies that are end level enemies. One fight, if you win one fight, so you go to the 3rd level, you either get a silver sword or the Fire 2 spell, and it hits everybody. You go up there, they're all frost giants. They're all like susceptible to the flame spell, especially like there's this part where 9 frost wolves come up, right? So you hit them, you get like 3, 4, 5,000 experience. You get like 5 levels. I was like, because that's just how my mind works. So I got it, and I leveled up, and I'm like literally level 25, and I walked through the game. I brought the game back, and He goes, bullshit. He put that in Steam all the year I had, and he goes, dude, you're a fiend. And that's how I got the Nintendo Fiend moniker. Was there a game you did that with?
No, not gonna lie, no, not at all, not at all. I've the only role playing game, the only RPG I've ever played was Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and that was later on in life. That was on the Xbox.
Okay.
What's up, Mario? But that's the only RPG I ever played was Marvel Ultimate Alliance. But man, I never got into a game that deep where I sat down and played 20 hours straight, man.
Dude, that's how I got that. Dude, I will tell you this. I didn't get a date for the next 5 years of my life. It was one of those things where it's just like when that hit school, it was over. It was over. But then, like, you get that thing where people start asking you gaming knowledge and stuff because they saw that I was onto things and I was beating these games really good. So when I stepped in with Mega Man 2, I bought Iron Sword, Wizard and Warriors 2. That game is just balls hard. And the end part, you have to fight all 4 elements, but you can only hit the elements one at a time. Well, I figured out if you popped up a little bit, you grabbed one, pulled it down, whipped its ass, and then go up, grab another one, and whip them. Instead of fighting all 4 at once, you had a better chance of winning. So I figured that out. But my other game was Ninja Gaiden 2. And so, did you ever play all of the Ninja Gaidens, or did
I haven't? I never played any of them.
Hey, sometimes
I wasn't a big gamer, man. I played very few games. We talked about it the other day. I played very few games, but when I do play a game, I get invested in it. But I mean, I don't sit down and play for 20 hours at a time, man. I can't.
Yeah, so Mario's in here.
My ADHD kicks in, man, and I got to get up and do something.
Yeah, I think Mario agrees with you, man. Yeah, some of these games are what bring people together, and that's why we're doing this podcast. There's no UFC this week, so like I said, I want to do it. I love the background, all the controllers, TurboGrafx 16. So speaking of moving along, let's get to the next era of systems, the 16 bits. So we're in the 16-bit era. The same damn story. Super Nintendo, did not get the Super Nintendo. My brother had all the money. He buys the Super Nintendo, but he leaves it in my room because he didn't have a TV in his room. And because he went and bought himself a waterbed and it took up the entire room. So he did that. And so, we got the Super Nintendo, but my buddy Dave got the TurboGrafx 16. And that opened us up to Game of the Year, Legendary Acts. And then, of course, I had the Super Nintendo. And then I remember going to the school and us arguing with the Genesis people left and right. Super Mario, so many different games at this era. Did you have the Genesis or the Super Nintendo? Well, you already talked about Holyfield.
Yeah, I had the Sega Genesis. I was a big fan, man. They came out with good games, and they had the Sega Genesis network back then.
Oh.
You could hook it up to the internet, and you could play every game that you wanted.
I remember that. So I see videos of the Sega Genesis network. Now, I actually got something called the X-Band. I was like, everybody just knew me at Babbage's, Software, etc. Now all called GameStop. They all knew who I was. And so if that rings a bell, the Sega channel, yeah.
Yeah, the Sega channel.
That's our guy. He's up in the football chat rooms. Yeah, dude. That was the jam, dude. I heard and then they upgraded it. Something around the Dreamcast era, Saturn era. There was something else. It was an upgraded.
I don't know, man. I stopped playing video games from the time I hit puberty until about 19 because I was in the girls more. I left the house.
Like I said, five-year stunt because of my fantasy addiction. So that led me. I'm actually drinking a coffee. Oh,
I'm drinking Miller Lite, bro.
Well, I have my Outlaw beer right here. Cheers, everybody. Let's do this. So yeah, like for me, the Super Nintendo had all like that was my jam. That's my favorite system of all time. Final Fantasy 4, which was 2 then. Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 6 is literally probably one of my most favorite games of all time. I love Final Fantasy 6. That's like I think that is my number one game of all time because I did my top 20 list. So that's it's got to be that. It's any given day, but Final Fantasy 6 is up there as number one. But for me, the Super Nintendo sound was just awesome. We got R-Type from the go, the Super Mario. And the first time I ever played Super Castlevania, and I heard that first tune when it goes dun dun dun. I just did that podcast. The Super Castlevania 4 podcast, literally on Bring the Pain. Dude, it's like a walkthrough. The next podcast, it's let out anyway. It's Super Street Fighter 2 for the 3DO. So we're moving along, man.
What's
so
3DO? What's 3DO?
The Panasonic 3DO was a 32-bit system that came out to rival the Sega CD. So I know you remember the Sega. Did you ever play the Sega CD? Night Trap?
Nah.
So 3DO is where Gex kind of started, and then they also had Slam and Jam, Magic and Kareem Slam and Jam Basketball, which was a really, really, really good basketball game. But pretty much the Lakers were the best team. The Los Angeles team was the best team because Magic and Kareem were on there. So, but there was a fake Jordan, and the way they set up the game. So you later in like an EGM, it was like Seattle was really like the Bulls. So instead, like number 23 would be the point guard. That would you would have to play Seattle to be them or something. So that's how they hid behind not having to pay for the NBA license. So it was kind of cool. Other than paying Magic and Kareem, Gex was an amazing. Go ahead. You'll know about that. We'll get to that.
Chrissy, I know about a lot of games. I just don't know about the older systems because I was playing sports and talking to girls.
Did you? So you never. I mean, the 32-bit era goes into the 64-bit era, Nintendo 64. That is PlayStation era. Now,
I went from Sega Genesis to like PlayStation 1 and Xbox.
Yeah. See, that's how most people did it. They didn't go after the Neo Geo. They didn't go after the Turbo Graphics. So for me, I was collecting the Turbo Graphics during these years. I was playing Diablo 2 during these years. I was Diablo 1 at first, of course. And so I was evolving. I was getting into online gaming, Unreal Tournament, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator 2. There was another one, Half-Life. This is where PvP became big. This is where I was playing PvP shooters like Fortnite when we were playing this, man. That's where it started for me. GoldenEye, and then Half-Life, and then, of course...
I played GoldenEye. I think everybody played GoldenEye.
Yeah, dude. And WWF No Mercy, still the best wrestling game ever to this day.
WCW versus NWO was just as good.
Oh, people do love revenge. Some people kind of go towards the WrestleMania 2000. I'm No Mercy all the way because No Mercy was the final product of the best of that game. Now, they did move that over. I'll give the GameCube versions, the Day of Reckoning games, both of those games were amazing as well, too. Same system.
I never played those, but I played the WWE games and the revenge games. You could take everything off the character, rename it, put them in what you want. Yeah.
Change their moves. So, like, No Mercy, man, this was religious. So Chrissy Ray knows a lot about this. She's over on the Twitch side right now. So for a lot of people listening on the audio side, this is being recorded live. So there is comments coming in and people talking, dude, No Mercy, dude. So I made my guy where I had this elbow with the knockout. So I would do this combo and everybody they would reverse it every once in a while. But like they always knew when they were getting up from doing a move, I would be coming with that elbow, dude. Because we would do 3-way matches. This was a game, and Chrissy can vouch for it. This was a game we literally just created pay-per-views. We had a ranking system of our own friends, and we just watched it. We didn't even play. We
did the same thing, but we actually played everything out. We played everything out.
We got bad. We were sitting there, and it would take 3 hours. It was like watching a real pay-per-view. I had my dad and his friend Bob Robinson. They were called Beer Drinkers Association. They would come out like freaking Triple H spitting beer. And we made my dad get aggressive. And what got really crazy, it was like this game became alive. And I'm telling you, I promise you, there's people that can back this up. My day, it was usually like when we weren't playing these guys. We had our championships, and then when we had the creative pay-per-view. So when we did it, one time my dad got crazy and beat everybody down. So we kept matching them up over a week. And my buddy Dave would come over and we would watch this whole thing. We just drink beers like a real pay-per-view. And he beat us down. I was the champion at the time. And my buddy goes, there's no way he's gonna run through my buddy Cricky. He's like, he's not gonna beat my guy. Dude, from the go, he bloodied my dad, and my dad beat him in a minute and a half. And I'm like, oh no. And so then he moved on, and he kicked the shit out of me, dude. And we were just like, what? And then my guy ended up getting the title back. And we did triple threat matches, fatal four ways. We had the tag team belts, man. Tommy had his dude. He created himself. Crick created his guy. My buddy Durst created his guy. Everybody had their own people, man. Even Tommy created Chrissy. It was funny, man. It was wild.
It's great. It's great. Those games were fun, man. Those games were fun.
Yeah. We that was so moving to the PlayStation. Which PlayStation games were some of the games that you liked or gravitated to?
The original PlayStation?
PS2.
PS2. Like I was telling you before, I really liked Need for Speed. I was into Need for Speed. What else? I'm trying to think what was on PS2. Because PS2 was out. PS2 was out, and then the original Xbox came out with it, right?
Yeah. Did you play Grand Theft Auto?
I played 3. I played Grand Theft Auto 3, and what was it? San Andreas. Played San Andreas 4.
Yep. That's the one I actually played out of. I've never played a Grand Theft Auto consistently. That's the one I played.
And I was a big fan of the Max Payne games, Max Payne 1 and 2.
I never made it to those, but everybody loved those games.
They were great. They even made a movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Yes, dude. That tells you how good a game is, dude. Dude. So around this time, what really did, because it was really like I remember one of my friends made the comment. He goes, we talk about all these great RPG games. Of course, we're talking about the PlayStation 2 era, Xbox era, and the Nintendo 64 era. But when we got together, it was Mario Kart 64, it was GoldenEye, it was WWF No Mercy, eventually Perfect Dark, and things like that. So that's what we were doing. But when everybody left, I was mostly playing Diablo 2 massively during this time. And then this is when I got into MMORPGs. Let's do that. And I was playing Ultima Online. I played this game called Anarchy Online, and then eventually Motor City Online. So now we're going to get into the Need for Speeds. Motor City Online was an online game with 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s cars. At the very start of the game, you were charged $10 per month, and you got to play. Now, it's been a while. X-Band was, other than the computer, when I brought up the X-Band for the Super NES, I used to play people with Street Fighter 2 online, Super Mario Kart. I would play online with that. So now I have this. Now I'm playing all these people, and I'm like, dude, this is getting crazy. Like the gaming and the way it was kind of going at that point. Yeah. Were you still playing online at that point?
No, I didn't start playing online until probably when I got my Xbox 360.
Okay. All right. So that would be like the Halo days for me and my friends.
Like Halo low, and I used to love going on and just beating kids in Madden, just smashing people in Madden. That was my favorite thing to do.
So we are going to get the Madden. We definitely going to get for Madden. So Need for Speed. What was the first Need for Speed you played?
It was probably that first Hot Pursuit in like 2000, like 99, 2000. Yeah, it was probably that first Hot Pursuit. Yeah, that was that. That's what got me hooked onto it for a little bit, and then I played the next three in the series.
Okay, so Hot Pursuit. So this is where I started racing online, and this is what led to Motor City Online by EA Sports. And so when the 3DO had the original Need for Speed. Need for Speed 1 is on the 3DO. And it was literally like you could do an automatic or you could do standard, and you would just get up there. And so you were it was awesome. They had like no music other than like when they had just the games. When it got to the PlayStation and the PC added music. And I remember this rocking tune on the PlayStation version. It was like, dun, 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 dun. I was like, what is this? And so then Need for Speed 2, a lot of people didn't like it because they went exotics. That was like the McLaren, the Ford F50.
I liked it.
You like Need for Speed 2?
Yeah, I liked it, man, because it was on the Xbox 360, and you could put your own music on the Xbox 360.
Okay, so that's Need for Speed 2 ahead. I'm talking like the one before Hot Pursuit.
Yeah, the one before Hot Pursuit. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. It was all right.
So Hot Pursuit is where Need for Speed, I feel they lost a lot of luster with Part 2. Part 3 is where they took off. Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit, the cops being able to chase you was hot shit, right? And me and my buddy would just literally play that the whole time. But he would think, so I would take the Countach, and he would take the Diablo. And he'd be like, yeah, man, you're not going to beat me. I'm like, well, damn, your car's fast as shit, man. I was like, my little Countach is over here just doing whatever it can do. And so Need for Speed 4 opened it up. They had 30 cars in this game. And I was like, wait a minute. So this is where I bought Need for Speed 3 for the PC. And there was more cars in it. I was like, whoa. Even Walmart at this time was selling Walmart exclusive packs where they put another car in it for the PC. So this is what was starting to attract me to the PC a little bit too. So I was playing that. Need for Speed 4 for the PC is amazing. This was the first Need for Speed you could upgrade. This is the first Need for Speed how to get. This is when the Camaro and the Firebird came back. Each had their levels. They had multiple Lamborghinis. And then the PC version, it ported all of the boards from Part 3. So you had all of Part 3, eventually all of the cars from Part 3. You had the upgrade system. You had a full online racing. And then on top of all of that, you could hack the game. And everybody had a bunch of files. So I had the Dukes of Hazzard game or Dukes of Hazzard car. I had that. I had everything. The Chevelle was in there now. So this is where it was. Of course, Need for Speed 5, they did exclusive Porsche. That was the Porsche Unleashed one. And that's where they introduced real physics. And then Need for Speed Motor City Online. Motor City Online gave you, at the end of it, gave you everything. It went to the 90s, gave you stuff like the Viper, I think. But there were some 90s cars. They gave you the Testarossa. That was another game, a car that they always loved to put in there. But, dude, you had the 70 Chevelle. You had the 69 Chevelle. You could go big block, small block, rods. You could buy the rods. You got a weekly roster. Every week you had to race against everybody in the world playing this game. So you got a salary weekly, and you got your rankings, and you got paid extra off of your rankings. My boy Crick was brilliant. I remember the first time we figured out there was a little click above here, and it said small block, and we clicked it, and we saw a big block, and I'm like, you could go 3-stroke transmission, dude. You could. This is where Need for Speed Underground came out. So this is when Need for Speed Underground came out, and Need for Speed Underground 2 is regarded as one of the best racing games ever. To me, if I rank the Need for Speeds, the original Need for Speed, it was what was that one? Not Pursuit. It was the go for it. But talk about that real quick while I pull that up. Talk about what? Need for Speed Underground 2 or the race Need for Speed Evolution then.
I stopped playing it after the Hot Pursuit. So I played 2, 3. Hot Pursuit was number 3. Yeah, I played 2, 3, and 4. I played the one after Hot Pursuit, but I wasn't really impressed, and I got more into sports games after that.
Okay, so that's where Madden came in.
Yeah, I got more into sports games, so I started playing Madden. I played the FIFA games. That's okay. I think that's around the time when the first UFC game came out.
Mm-hmm.
So
you were in the UFC back then. I was in that.
I was in the UFC since the early '90s, man, when it first came out.
Okay, so it was Need for Speed Most Wanted. The story of Most Wanted is great. Most Wanted, they even redid it. Most Wanted I think is the best version of that Need for Speed. It had everything. But so now we're over to this. So when me and my guys were playing Tecmo Super Bowl, when we were playing Madden 94, Madden 95 kind of I had a lot of friends that still had not ported to Madden that were still playing Tecmo Super Bowl. They didn't port to Madden until Madden 98. So I didn't get to play with a lot of my other friends other than Dwan because of that. And then that's where we started gambling. But me and Dwan got bored with Madden. So then we bought NHL 94. And then we bought FIFA 94. Yeah. And then, of course, we were playing the basketball games, Lakers versus Bulls, all the time. So that, and then when I got the 3DO and we were playing Magic and Kareem's Slam-A-Jam, and then eventually playing Slam-A-Jam 95, I think was the latest one. We would play that one. So that's really that we were doing all that. So that's actually how when I was saying earlier, that's how I fell in love with soccer music. Soccer made me fall in love with that. Need for Speed 4 is the first time I heard Lunatic call him Roll the Dice, and that's why I love Simon Shackleton. So when I say Simon Shackleton, Elite Force, I've listened to him since Need for Speed 4. That was my first introduction to him. So it's where music is life. Yeah, it's just great. So Xbox 360, PlayStation 4 era, PlayStation 3 era. Of course, let's go Xbox One era. Which of those systems? You said you had the Xbox 360. Did you have the one?
I had the Xbox One, I had the 360, and I eventually bought the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm. So you're practically buying all the systems. I'm just collecting all systems as I go, which are all right there, as you saw.
I buy them and then I'll sell them if I don't like them. So.
I don't know. The only thing I got rid of was my Dreamcast, and that's because this dude lost. He was controlling a lot of his multiplayer gaming through this console, and he would have gaming nights. And now he does this whole thing in Erie. But regardless of that, next gen, I actually am on the podcast a few times. Next Level Gaming. So that's his name is Jason. So I gave him that. I was like, look, just get it. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, dude, I'm just cool like that. Just take it. I didn't really have any games for the Dreamcast at that point. So I figured, I know a lot of people are going to say I'm stupid, but I just kind of just like that. I have all my other systems. I'm fine with that. The Dreamcast didn't really have much for me. I played Shenmue. I gave him all that. I was compensated well. So that being said, that's kind of where I was at with gaming and just kind of moving on and going into that. So I went Xbox 360. Chris got me that for Christmas. And then that's when I started playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. And that's when I started doing online. What games did you play that online during those times?
I didn't really play online, man. I couldn't afford the internet for my house, so I didn't really play online. I was broke, bro. I didn't really play online, so I would just play one-player games mostly. 360. Let's see, what is that? Played that. That's when I started playing the Marvel Ultimate Alliance a lot.
Okay. All
and
right.
then Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 came out, so I played that.
Tell me about that game. That game was like overhead where you moved your characters, right?
Yeah. It was semi overhead and semi to the side. It's hard to explain, but yeah, you can move. You can pick. You get a team of 4, and it's an RPG, and you go through the story that's going on. And the first one, it was Civil War. If you're a Marvel fan, you know what Civil War is. The first one, it was Civil War You got to pick Team Cap or Team Iron Man, and whichever way you went, you had a different story. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you see, so I never actually played that game. I was playing a lot of games like Invictus or Near Civilization, Age of Empires. I was actually an Age of Empires guy where I would build my army, but those are really slow strategy games. Of course, again, I didn't have many dates during these times when I was playing these games, but at the same time, it was like one of those things where I was just like, I was fine with it. I had my youngest daughter or my oldest daughter at that time, so like I said, Diablo 2 and a lot of stuff. But so like I got into the Call of Duty series. I, of course, played Black Ops and went through all that. And then, of course, I moved over when I got to the next level, Killer Deal. I happened to call up a rental place that had just repoed a PlayStation 4, and they had paid off half of it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I got my PlayStation 4 for $218 out the door, and with one controller, and the PlayStation had just came out that previous February. Pulling that off now would almost be impossible with the scalpers and everything going on.
Yeah.
But for me, it was one of those things to where when I went back to it, I was like, I was happy about it. I got to it, so I got my PlayStation 4. That led to so many different games that I got to play more Call of Duties, and I mean even Elden Ring. I played Elden Ring on that leading up to my now PlayStation 5 purchase, and then of course during the Corona Mania, I was able to get the Switch, so I had to switch that, and then of course I was able to attend a real Switch. So my gaming up to this point has been pretty gamed up, but now that we're talking about it, you play a little bit of Fortnite.
I do. I play a little bit of Fortnite, man. You've played with me. I'm not that good, but I run around and try.
I'm actually not that good either. But our daughters are good, so then they carry us a little bit.
Yeah, they carry the team, and I'll have like 2 kills. They have to revive me 3 times.
Yeah, carry us, throw us out of the storm, trying to shoot us and shooting them.
Yeah, I'm not that good. I'm not going to say I am.
We do win though. When we all play together, we win. Sometimes though, I gotta say, when Molly would clip some of those Macy deaths at the beginning, that would be hilarious. I think the one that stuck out is when she was just staring at the tree and she's like, "I don't think anybody sees me," and we're watching it. And then she turns around and the dude blasts her. I was like, that had to be someone's clip, but that clip is hilarious. And then now they're just monsters playing that game. But
yeah, they come in like first, second, and third every time they play. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun. And so like I was telling you the other day, my Switch needed to be completely reinstalled after that update. So I got that going, but the one that has all that on there it has a drip, so I can't really it kind of throws my aiming off. Or no, it's the run one. So you'll be running and you'll try to aim it, and the thing you'll start walking, and you're like, wait a minute, no, okay. I can't do this. So it kind of throws me off. Now I do have the other one, but the other one, because the actual SD card or SD port was somehow damaged, it's limited memory, and I have Wario. I have my Wario game installed on that, and then I have Breath of the Wild. So for me, I have no room on that card now. So, all right, have a good one, Chrissy.
Bye.
So that card, that's the one I would play that on, and that would be cool, and that's a bigger screen. So I'll set that up. I'll get that one updated, and I'll get Fortnite on that. So when you guys ask, I can play on that, because honestly, that's the faster of the 2 systems. I'll be better on that. And I got
I mean it's fun. I think it's fun. I play it. I'm an old school guy. I play like an old school person. I don't build. I just walk around and I shoot.
Oh, God. I don't build. I'm always crouched. I walk everywhere crouched.
Yeah, crouch. I turn corners like.
I play it like Bond, dude. I straight up. I am like Bond.
Yeah.
I always land in great little places and just be popping fools. And sometimes I choose violence and drop right at the beginning and just start blasting fools too, man. That's
Yeah,
always
I
fun.
mean, I mean, sometimes I'll do that. I mean, I can play the game. I'm not terrible.
Yeah,
But,
we are good. Don't get that wrong, people. We will whack your ass.
like I'm
You'll
not,
be so-
I'm
and you'll
not,
be with a little handgun.
I'm not terrible. I sniper people with handguns on that game, bro.
It cracks me up. You always got your little gun.
Yeah, I just walk around with a handgun, and I'm always John Wick, which is great.
I know. That's funny. Because I was about to say you always like Bond, like looking with your John Wick shit. And I'm just like, dude, this is crazy, man. Dude, and then, but we haven't got you into Marvel Rivals yet. I'm telling you, man, Marvel Rivals is insane, but it is fun.
I watched Molly play it like through Macy's screen, like they were showing me. It moves too fast for my eyes, man. I'm old.
I will say yes, it moves fast, dude.
Even when I play Fortnite, man, I got to put my glasses on and like squint when I'm playing the
game. That's why I love the Switch, because the Switch is in my hand. It's like a Game Boy, you know. So it's like I don't need my glasses.
Put my glasses on and squint the whole time. But I on PlayStation 5, I do play college football, the NCAA 2025. I'll spank anybody that wants to play in that game.
Throw your gamer tags, people.
Yeah, I'll spank anybody that wants it. I'm good at that game. But that, and I'm a big fan of the Spider-Man games on the PlayStation 5.
I've not played those. I do have one. I think I have the Morales one as a free download, or the one prior to that. This is where we get into the God of War and stuff in games. Like those are games that I missed because I'm putting 20 hours into Final Fantasy 1, which I just played Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. And well, I'm playing 2 right now, which is the third one of the HD remakes. And I'm literally putting 50, 60 hours in these games. I've put 20 hours, 15 hours in so many years ago. And then I played the DS versions, dude. But it's so different how we've played similar games, but we've also played other games that are completely opposite of each other.
Yeah. Like, oh man, the God of War series is my favorite series. It always has been since the PlayStation days. The PlayStation 2, the first God of War came out. Then PlayStation 3, they had 2 more come out. And then PlayStation Portable had 2 come out. And now PlayStation 4 and 5 have these ones. And they're coming out with one next year. I'm excited about that. But these last 2 are the best 2 in the series. God of War and Ragnarok.
Yeah, dude. I got Ragnarok for free with my PlayStation 5. So I got the Ragnarok version.
Yeah, right. You got to play the first one first because you won't understand the story. You won't understand the story.
No, I played a little bit of that. I know about Kratos and going against the gods. And
I mean the God of War, that the one that just came out, like God of War, and then Ragnarok is the sequel to God of War.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that I do know, because then that's why the boy is there, and then the newest.
Yeah. The newest one is supposedly supposed to be in Egypt.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, dude, that's gonna be fun. See, that's why that's why when I said Invictus earlier, Invictus was a strategy game, kind of like Command and Conquer games. You had little armies, and it focused on the Greek mythology. I'm a huge Greek mythology. This goes back to Battle of Olympus for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which used the Zelda 2 engine. So it played like that, but I solely love that game too. But that game was another hard game. That's a game I played with Dawn. Yeah. We played a lot of. Actually, the heartbeat was actually getting us. And my buddy Jay-Z was sitting there watching, and he was younger than us, so we kind of like age shamed him. We're like, bro, you can't beat this, and he beats the freaking heartbeat. He's like, give me one shot. He one-shotted the heartbeat, and me and Dawn were getting smashed.
Hey, we got a comment, man, and I appreciate you, man. We like to play games, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so like those games right there, I do want to play. But then, like I said, daughter's playing Marvel Rivals and Fortnite on that. So I don't get to play. I had to buy this computer, and luckily I can play Fortnite or Marvel Rivals on this. I can play Fortnite on this computer too.
Hey,
But
God of War is on PC now.
Yeah. Well, the Steam, I have the Steam account, so like, there's chances that if I see a game, like, there's this game for the PC I have upstairs. It's called Septerra's Core. It's actually on the Steam engine. I might be able to get it for $1. I've always wanted to play it. It's kind of like a cyberpunk role playing game.
Yeah.
Or what do they call that stuff with the not cyberpunk, but the other punk where they have the long nose, owl looking things with the big eyes.
I don't know.
Ash, yeah, I'll remember that. It's like that you see them all the time when Halloween comes out. They have
like the old doctors, like the old doctor, the doctor masks.
Yeah, that. Yeah. So they have like the whole game is that. So I'm like, damn, it's kind of cool. So
but you would really like the God of War games because you could actually upgrade like your gear and your axe and you could upgrade everything. You have to find there's little side quests, so you would actually like it.
I got past the first boss in God of War Ragnarok. I think it was actually is it he runs into Thor at first? Not Thor. Yeah, he runs Thor. Is Thor the first one or no? It's that other dude he runs into at first because he comes to his
door.
Yeah. And he fights him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first. That's the one I played. I did play that. Played it up to that point. I played it up to the first quest, and then I started playing Elden Ring. And about 1,000 hours later,
4 years later,
4 years later, and they got Night Rain now. I haven't even bought that. Got the money to buy it, but I haven't because like I have the PlayStation 5, but I don't mind her playing that. And like I said, I don't mind playing my stuff on that. There'll be time for me to go in there and Elden Ring it up. But, like those games right there, like to level up and just to make the kind of games that's always made. Even World of Warcraft. I was a tank in World of Warcraft. I'm a tank in Elden Ring. So it's always been that kind of like skill where I've always been good at close hand combat and things like that, man. That's who I am. But dude, something's gonna come out, man. But we'll get together with some Fortnite. Is there anything you're looking forward to?
The new God of War. I heard there was an update for the new UFC game that's coming out.
Yeah.
I haven't bought the last two because I was not impressed with the one that I bought.
UFC games?
Yeah, it had Jorge Masvidal and Adesanya on the front of it.
Okay.
I wasn't impressed with it, man. It's just so easy just to beat people up. You don't have to dodge or anything. People just miss.
I heard some guys at the dojo, they actually play that one a lot, the new one. And they talk about that, and they always talk about like, I'll just rush you, man. You're like, oh no, you can't rush. And I'm like, wait a minute, so that must be what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I literally won the title in that game just leg kicking people. I never threw a punch, never threw a body kick, head kick. I leg kicked people, and I was the welterweight champion. That's all I did.
Oh, dude, you're just leg kicking. And I know you said you're Madden. Did you play? So you're playing the latest Madden?
No, last year's Madden. I didn't get this year's. I got last year's.
I haven't played a Madden since. The last Madden I really played a lot of was Madden 06. Madden 06 is. I've played the newer ones. Like I even played some on the Wii. Those were bad. We had to throw with the motion control.
Yeah.
You had to catch like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't buy this year's because it's been the same engine for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So if you're good at one, you're going to be good at all of them, and nothing ever changes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really like the NCAA football this year. That was really good. That was really good. It was a different engine. It's harder to pass. It's harder to run, and you actually have to play defense. You can't pick the same defense every time.
And that's the thing that is everything you just said there. I know that because that's existed in Madden since back then. That's why a lot of people thought that, and what was it called? Not game day, not the game day series. NFL 2K, NFL 2K5. They go or NFL 2K 2005.
Those games were great.
I love them because the Dreamcast. I had NFL 2K and then NFL 2K1 and then NBA 2K and NBA 2K1. Nobody. I've told you, I have played tons of my friends for money. Rick, Durst, Juwan. I've played everybody else. I've went to parties, Madden parties, basketball parties. The most dominant year in any game of basketball I've ever had over my friends was NBA 2K1 after the Lakers won that championship because Shaq and Kobe were the two best in the game, and they could not stop Shaq and Kobe.
You can't. The real NBA couldn't stop Shaq and Kobe that year.
And I would be a punk. I would put Robert Horry in. Yeah. And then I would put Rick Fox in. Rick Fox was my dude, right? So Durst was always like a David Robinson and Kevin Garnett kind of guy. And Crick was a Philadelphia, so he had Iverson. And every time I had Iverson, I was like, I always would put Horry. I would move Horry, I think, the small forward. So he would guard whoever the guy was at forward because I would call him the 76er killer. And me and my dude would always be going back and forth, man. But it got crazy, too, because NFL 2K1, when the Rams won that Super Bowl, Marshall Faulk's juke. You could power up your moves and hit that juke. And like the whole team would just fall off him, and then he'd just go running a touchdown.
I mean, that's how it was. The 96, the NFL 96. If you were Barry Sanders, no one could even. Yeah, no one could even touch you. You hit the juke and the spin move, and it's a touchdown every time he touches the ball.
When they really when they took out the historic teams of Madden, that's when I stopped liking it because that added an aspect that gave me a chance as a Rams fan to play Zara Dickerson. It gave me a chance to go back.
They have them back.
They have, yeah. I mean, I know now they do the cards and stuff, but that was like what got me out of them. That's when they stopped doing that. That's what turned me off as a fan. And then my friend's not playing anymore. Yeah. So then I didn't have a reason to play Madden. I still haven't really had a reason to play Madden. So that's why I just haven't played it. I get more entertainment out of games like Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, which I only started this year. And then even before, I was playing that Star Wars game that they had, Star Wars it was like Rivals. It was the game that came out before Rivals, and they just ended it. I loved that game. It was just fun. I was playing it left and right. It was for your phone or the Switch. And so that was the game I played a lot on the Switch. So that to me, that's kind of the games that I've been kind of into, and it seems like you've kind of into, man. Did you ever buy that Marvel Midnight Suns?
No, I did play it because I got that PlayStation Network. I did play it. It wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't great. Yeah, it was just average.
Okay, because I remember you brought that up.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but I'm a comic book nerd, and Midnight Suns was one of my favorite comic book arcs. Yeah, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole comic book podcast because all I am is Hellblazer. Like I have some number ones. Like I have Glenn Danzig's Death Dealer at issue number one downstairs, so that's down there. I took them upstairs now because I was a little small for that one. And I have all the Hellblazers starting from back at the beginning. The only Hellblazer that I don't have is the one that the Sandman was created in, and that's because the Sandman people go after that comic. So it's kind of like you have two fandoms in that. Yeah. So all my friends were Marvel guys.
You're talking about Constantine, right? Hellblazer, yeah. John Constantine. Okay.
Yeah, so I know like some people like the DC Marvel kind of things. So me, Vertigo, the edgier, and I wasn't even allowed to buy this comic. Here we go, video games comics. We're just gonna have this. I wasn't even allowed. You had to be 18 years old to buy Hellblazer. But this dude, Tim of Gateway Comics, he was just like, look, I'm gonna have to talk with you. don't tell your parents. Just I'll give you this because Hellblazer has a sexual nature to it. It had a very heaven versus hell vibe to it.
That's Constantine, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you know, a lot of this is where I learned a lot of my British slang, and where words over in Britain meant different things than here. So I even had to ask my friends about a couple of things like that because we didn't have the internet back then, in the late 80s. At least we didn't have it.
No.
So that was, to me, that right there that signifies gaming. That signifies everything that about like a full gaming experience. How gaming can take you one way, bring you in, shape your life. I think that sometimes gaming also allowed me to get over getting bullied when I was younger. It allowed me a lot of great times, a lot of great memories with my brother and friends as well too. Things that I'll always take to heart, and things like that. And that's what gaming's always meant to me. And I think that's why it's always been a big part of my life. And maybe that's what makes me different, weird. And I sometimes think about that. I think about like how my dad raised me with WWF/WWE, football, basketball, and that was it. And then eventually, and of course, just all video games. He's the one that gave me video games and just playing all those video games. And then me and Dwan going into the other sports, and then learning about Wayne Gretzky, and then, moving on to soccer and Eric Walnalda. And so these are names that, like Kobe Jones, early 90s soccer. People loved Kobe Jones. You probably don't remember him, do you?
I know who Kobe Jones. I know who Kobe Jones is, and Alexi Lawless and all those guys. Yeah, I remember those guys.
Lawless. What other soccer players do you remember?
Well, everybody knows who Pele is. I remember Pele. Soccer is not my my strong suit, but I do remember some of the Team USA guys.
That's and so for me, this goes back to the 3DO. When the 3DO version came out, it was amazing, and the Madden on the 3DO. So when Jerome Bettis is rookie, because we couldn't update that year's Madden, he just sucked. He sucked. So the 3DO came out near Christmas. Their Madden came out near Christmas. They updated Jerome Bettis' stats because he was second to Emmitt Smith that year in rushing yards.
Yeah,
and that's when he was the battering ram, and he had that big game, a big explosive game against the Saints. We went for like 212 yards and a touchdown. It was, to me, that was it. But that Madden updated. Well, both that Madden and that FIFA would have these halftime things. And it would be called the greatest moments in sports history. And it would say that. And it would go back to these videos of Pele. And that's how we started learning about soccer. And they had weird moments. Like when there was a riot, there was just literally a riot. And so my friends were playing these soccer games. And we even evolved to FIFA 2001. I played online religiously with a ton of people. And then I was playing a lot with my friends too. That to me was like one of my most favorite soccer games of all time. Other than like the 3DO version, improving on what FIFA 94 was doing.
Yeah.
So I just love it. And Madden was the same way. Dude. Like it has these old clips, and they would bring in, instead of having like the announcers, they would have this fake announcer go over the things, and then he would be like, he will not be denied. And you could just tell it was so bad. But it was old school. It was like Tampa Bay creamsicle color days.
Yeah.
Like that. And it did the same thing. So, that's what gaming is. That extra step in the Street Fighter 2, my next video game music podcast, taking that Street Fighter 2 music, those memories, upgrading it, and then that becoming the main Street Fighter that me and my friends played, adding the extra move and the super bar for the first time in the season. So that was like I said, game evolution. It's just funny, probably just being able to talk video games.
Yeah, well, I mean, video games for me, they're a release. You leave your reality of, a grown man that has job, has bills, has problems, and you could release and you could get away for an hour or two and then you come back and you feel better because you put out all your frustrations on the people that you're playing that game against. So that's what video games are to me.
That is, and that's the true meaning. I think that you can be addicted to them, and I have talked about my video game addiction multiple times in this episode, and just kind of beat it. But now I don't get to play games often, but when I do, I played Marvel Rivals hardcore, and then I've kind of been just kind of busy just doing other things. But I'm gonna play it this weekend. Everybody works. Daughter's coming down.
Yeah, she'll be at my house. She'll be in my house.
Maybe I'll just play right here. I'll put a fan on me. I'll play in the middle room. I'll be live on Twitch or something like that. Because people talking about playing Tekkens and all that stuff, man. I'll play stuff live. But I'm gonna play Marvel Rivals. Maybe I'll play the new Elden Ring. Maybe I'll go buy the new Elden Ring.
There you go.
Everybody's gone. Sit down. Play out the new thing, break out my old fingerprint shield, and get ready.
Get a little cooler and put it right beside you with a couple beers. You'll be good. You'll be ready to go.
Go get her, so I can't be sloshed. At one time I was doing a podcast, and she told me she was going to get out at 9:15, and then at like 8:56, she's like, "Yo," and she was flipping out. I was like, "Oh, dude, I was locked in my podcast. I thought I had I was like, okay, 9:15, and I didn't look back down. I just stayed in that podcast, and man, I got a scorching. But hey, doing what we love, putting smiles on our face, and just reliving moments that we always love to do.
That's right, man. Yeah, that's right. I don't get to play. I don't get to play video games very often, but when I do, I enjoy it.
That's the true key to life. Take what you can, release when you can, because days like that are what make life worth living. Without that, you're always going to be dredged, man.
Yeah. I look forward to it, and I see the girls playing all the time, and sometimes I'll sit there and watch, and sometimes I'll ask them, like, "Let me play. I want in. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's get it." So we're gonna get that. I'm gonna go out there and update my the better Switch and make sure my Fortnite's on there and get that all moved up, man. But dude. Next week, we'll be back to, instead of the Fight Club of Games, we're going to be doing the Fight Club of Pain. And we're going to be back. We're going to have Strickland versus Hernandez. What an amazing match we have planned next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a good card, man. I really like that fight. We actually called that fight.
Yes.
That's another fight that we called that they're making.
That means we're just dialed in on the Fight Club of Pain. We're now here making people money. Actually, I'm going to say this real quick. The whole Olympics thing that we got going on, dude, I literally just put all my money down, and I'm already way above what I had when I started after football. I took all the money out and said, this is what I have. I left $15 on each site. And, dude, I've already put it in. I have like 30 more bets that are about to hit. And I'm already super past what I made off of the Olympics, dude.
That's what's up, man. Hey.
It just shows, man, when we dial in, we're the best.
I agree. And we may not be the best at video games, but we like them, damn it.
We like them, damn it. They matter to us. They're what it does. All right, man. Well, we had a good time. Let's get up on out of here. Let's get ready for our next podcast. Let's have some fun. Man, I'm ready. Dan, thanks for coming on talking video games with me. Comic books will be our next topic that we will talk about. It's another off the cuff episode. So everybody out there, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that you could relive a lot of this yourself. Maybe remember these games, these stories. I know we didn't talk about Final Fantasy VII, Xenogears, Breath of Fire 3, or there's so many games that we've missed. The Hitman series. On top of that, too, there's, and I never played the Hitman, but I know about that.
I played the Hitman series, but I never played any of the other games that you said.
That is what everything is about, man. I cannot wait. So thanks a lot, man. I can't wait to see you tomorrow because I got 4 presents for you.
Oh, I got some beer for you, so we're good.
Woo-wee! All right, brother, man. Have a great day, everybody, and always remember to bring the games. Ooh, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well